Today we'll be discussing about this optimal choice, and we already have discussed something about the preferences.
This is
Now,
the top result.
so we already have discussed about the preferences in this regard. So we would start with this normal good, and this normal good says that the commodity X and commodity, sorry, X1 and X2, both are the normal goods. It means the definition of indifference curve, as we know that the good one and a good two both are good commodities. So in that case, the optimal choice would arrive by the budget line stringency, as you already have done in case of consumer equilibria. So the optimal choice we will get with this tangency of the indifference curve and the budget line over here. Okay. If you go for the MRS, we already have discussed the MRS is just the slope of this. So when you have budget line, you can also have this triangle and you can assess, how much you need to substitute for the other commodity. So when you go with trading an exchange rate, okay, you see here we are following the tangency here with, and then we have intersection here. Fine. So we do follow the optimal choice, of course, somewhere here because your indifference curves are like that. Okay. But whenever you do trade it, so we do follow some endowment, some budgets and all that thing. So which is given to you in that way. Okay. So that is why the trading is taking place like this. But always you need to follow this optimal choice with the tangencies. So we are actually taking, this trading at the particularly E point, which is actually defining the slope E here. So consumer can move along with the line and the slope of that is what the minus E in this case. Okay. Then further, we have optimal choice with the concave cases. The concave cases, we know the preferences are what? We always have better bundle to this side. Okay. So if you go for, the inner bundle, then what happens? This is giving you the worst bundle. The reason because we are not following the concept of convexity's average bundle over here, because this is the concave relationship. Your MRS is continuously rising. So this particularly gives you non-optimal choice in this case. Okay. So what optimal choices you would derive? The optimal choices would be this side. And also you can get it to this extreme. Okay. Not to here somewhere at the average bundle. Then more than one tangencies if would occur, then what happens? We have here the optimal bundle. The reason because we are following a set of convex preferences, a weakly preferred set, and then you can say yes, it is an optimal choice. Here also we have an optimal choice, but the average bundle of these two extremes is not giving you any optimal choice here. Okay. The reason behind it, now this curve is tending like a non convex or a concave preferences, and that is why this is now converted as a worst bundle. Okay. So this could be an optimal choice, this could be an optimal choice, but this is not a better point than these two. The reason because we have this concavity here. The preferences could also be like this. We have this convex preferences, non-convex preferences, and the concave preferences too. The convex preferences, we already have discussed that the average bundle of two extremes, if you would take, then the bundle anywhere if you are availing or somewhere here at the average, this is always a better bundle than this and then this. So if you are coming towards this, it means you are substituting this one for this, or if you are going towards this, then you are substituting this to this for this. So it means the all bundles which are located here, this gives you higher level of utility. Now here what is happening? We have again the average bundle. Here the 1 point, here also we have 1 point, and what's happening? The average bundle we are getting here. It's the same case what we have seen here. So we, from the convexity, okay, of two extremes, we are getting an average bundle towards the concavity. So that is why this average bundle is actually revealing a worse utility than these two bundles. So that's why we shouldn't opt this, because this doesn't follow convexity in the preferences. So that is very important. If your indifference curve follows a set of, the weakly preferred set, and also that is following a monotonicity, then only you can prefer your choices, uh, based on the average bundle. Otherwise, you need to, uh, this is according to the average bundle. So this average bundle is definitely showing an inferior position. Now, what is happening here? This is the non-convex preferences, because some preferences are convex, some preferences are non-convex. But here we have concave preferences, and this concave preferences has also the two different extremes. And then you are deriving an average bundle of two extremes, which is showing an inferior position again. The reason behind it, if you come down towards this, then probably this bundle could be an optimal bundle than this bundle. But this bundle you cannot prefer on this bundle, because the nature of MRS and the nature of MRS is just reversed in these two situations. So you cannot opt the extreme over here on this average bundle, because this is giving you a better utility, but you cannot opt average bundle over and above these two extremes, because it is a concave preference. Then to identify mathematically this convex preferences, you can discuss like this. The convex preferences I can define this way mathematically, as T is scalar we are using here. Yesterday we have seen that the proportion of a T is just an amount, how much amount of a X and how much amount of a Y. You want to increase and decrease, and that to define your MRS. Okay, from this point to this point, if you are reaching, suppose you are somewhere here in the middle, but you want to come down, okay, towards the position of this X. So you have to substitute some Y. So how much T is adding the proportion of this X, your consumption, and how much T you are losing in your consumption of Y. So the same thing, Tx, this is a proportion of X plus 1 minus T, because we do assume that the total expenditure, your budget is limited. So whatever analysis you will be doing here, that is entirely based on your fixed budget. Okay, because we do follow as a rationality in our assumption for convexity, and this rationality says that we do follow the assumption of a budget constraint. Okay, so this budget constraint does not allow us to go beyond this category of one, so our expenditure should be within this. So this is the sum proportion of X, and 1 minus T, which is your T scalar, has to reduce from this one, and the remaining amount of Y you are consuming now. This is better than and revealed preferred over and above this Y, and still it is showing this at least as good as notation. The reason behind it, you are talking about a weak set of preferences, because the indifference curve is itself a weak set of preference. If you would compare this extreme and this extreme, they both are indifferent to each other. Okay, so as we discussed yesterday, that we do assess the weak order of preference in two ways. The one is which is available on this same indifference curve, or it is arbitrarily close to this particular point. Okay, so that is the reveal preferred on that, and also you are indifferent between this. So here we need to define, because as a consumer I would like to prefer X commodity more, and that is why the T scalar I'm not, even I'm increasing this T over here, but at the same time I have to reduce this T from the Y. So as a consumer, my rationality of a consumption would go for the commodity X, which is revealed preferred on the commodity of Y. So that is why there is a sign of reveal preference, or a better preferred sign. But at the same time, there is at least as good as, the reason because we are following a weak set of preference, which is the definition of indifference curve. So the value of T is a set of 0, 1, and these values. It means these values would be there. Somewhere it could be 0 and somewhere could be this 1 or maybe lesser than that. Convexity says that the agent prefers averages to extremes. If the agent is indifferent between x and y, then she prefers the average tx plus 1 minus t is a product of y to either x or y. Okay, so we can write this assumption in terms of utilities. Preferences are convex if whenever utility of x is better than or at least as good as utility of y, then we can write like this. So this is the same notation, only we are putting the utility of whole our, the changes. This is the change which we are bringing into the utility of x, because your x would automatically increasing when this y would reduce. So your utility of x is, increasing, and this is now better than the utility of y, and also at least as good as, because you're talking about a convex set and also the indifference curve. Is that clear, you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Or any
Yes,
doubt
ma'am.
you have?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that clear? Okay. So then for the our indifference curve could also be like this, but in only exceptional cases, because this is the king situation. The king situation, this shows basically budget line here. Okay, we already have seen the perfect complement goods. Okay, the perfect complement goods also have a king, and then what does it mean? Yes, everyone. Perfect complement has also a king. Don't remember.
Yes, ma'am. L-shaped curve they have.
That is, I'm not
L-shaped
able to
IC
hear
curve
you.
they have. Hello?
See, we do not have here the point of tangency. Similarly, in perfect complement goods also we do not have tangency. It doesn't mean, you are having exactly a kink over here. So when you have kink over here, then we are following a tangency with the king. Then what does it mean? Yesterday I told you something when I was discussing about the perfect complement goods. Then
Then
if
the
we
minimum
follow the
rate,
tangency of budget line with the king, then what does it reveal? Can you tell me something?
we'll take minimum of x1 and x2 there.
There is no,
There is
please.
no marginal rate of substitution. There is no marginal rate of substitution, ma'am.
Yes, there is no marginal rate of substitution. It means both of the goods are required that we have discussed. So the meaning is that we cannot say there is no marginal rate of substitution. Rather, we say that the marginal rate of substitution we are not able to define in such situation. Okay. The reason behind it, the tangency is getting occurred only at the king. And sometimes in exceptional cases, you may have the situation of, the king tangency. And then your slope of indifference curve and the slope of budget line may also have a changes, and which you can see, with the boundary optimum also. So I think this would better could be analyzed with further with the boundary optimum, but this is saying this is an exceptional situation. If you would like to derive an optimal choice, then you will have a tangency with this way of an indifference curve with the budget line. Okay, so better I think we would understand the whole case with the perfect complement, and also some more lights we can give into it with the boundary optimum. So with the other slides we can discuss it. Then we have optimal choices with perfect complements, as we were discussing about this king. So we have the king over here also, and this king is saying that we cannot define, the MRS. The reason, because both of the goods are, necessary for a consumption or completing the consumption. So if this is becoming zero, then there is no utility of other good. So the optimal choice, and after that, we can understand more about this perfect complement goods. As yesterday we discussed this function part for this perfect complement goods, the utility of x1 and x2. If we assume there are the two goods which are having the relationship of perfect complement goods, following minimum of x1 and x2 both are required. So it means you require this x1 also and you require this much of x2 also to complete your consumption. So of course this is an optimal choice, because once you are here you would be definitely consuming both. If you are somewhere here or you are somewhere here, you cannot define your MRS. Okay, still you cannot define your MRS because the substitution is not present. Then, or we say the substitution degree is zero. The resulting indifference curve L shape with the link along the alpha x1 is equals to beta x2. See here, this alpha x1 is equals to beta x2. They both required, in the equal proportion to a consumer for completing the consumption. So your relationship of this function would be converted to this alpha x1 is equals to beta x2. Okay. So this is because these preferences do not quite obey the monotonicity conditions. Now this is very important. This budget line is going like this, okay, and this indifference curve is not even declining in the shape, what we do study in case of other cases. So for us this is the exceptional case. Now if you go for the monotonicity, the higher indifference curve shows the higher level of utility that is there. Okay, but the two extremes, if you want to calculate the two extreme, this two extreme is this, then only you would reach somewhere here. But okay, for the average bundle, so in that way, yes, there is the monotonicity, but the shape, if you consider, that is not a declining shape, which actually reveals the preferred set of weakly preferred set of a convex bundle which is desired for this analysis. We don't have in such case. So that's the problem of monotonicity. It doesn't follow the complete case of that. So MRS, we could see in such cases if we have alpha x1 which is greater than beta x2. Suppose if you do follow this way, that I want to increase x1 because you cannot define your MRS in this position. And if you want to go with this, enhancing alpha x1 rather than this beta x2, or if you would increase this x1, then automatically this x2 would decline. So this position would arrive. Then in that case, what will be your MRS? So marginal utility of 1 divided by marginal utility of 2 gives you the value of marginal utility of 1, that is 0. The reason, because what if you are increasing this x1, then x2 is also requiring the same. And your beta is this, then whole process of MRS or the value of MRS would now be equals to 0. Yesterday I told you that the value of MRS which is we cannot define, and because of that you will get value either 0 or infinity in that case. Now here also, if your alpha x1 is less than beta x2, so if your marginal utility of 1, that is the alpha would remain in a positive, but here marginal utility of 2 would be 0 in this case, and then you will get the value of infinity. So either one position, if you would fluctuate, then in both ways you will get either 0 value or the infinity value in the value of MRS with the perfect complement goods. So that's why we cannot define this MRS in the case of perfect complement goods. Always we need to follow this relationship. Alpha x1 is equals to beta x2. Then MRS is not defined because the indifferent curve is not differentiable. Okay, so that is the case of perfect complement goods. Now based on this, if we'll go for perfect complement analysis for the income offer curve. Do you know the definition of income offer curve? Yes, anybody? If you remember the definition of income offer curve. What happened? Nobody remembers? The income offer curves, see, we consider this is the indifference curve. This is also the indifference curve. So higher indifference curve shows the higher level of utility. But at the same time, there we have budget line, there we also have budget line, and we are getting optimal choices here. So here we have optimal choice, this optimal choice, and you may have optimal choice if there isn't budget line. So locus of all these optimal choices, okay? This is the locus of or the combination of all optimal choices while keeping your prices constant. How would you find out the prices are constant here? Because this budget line and this budget line are parallel to each other. So it means your prices are constant. And that's why you can have your only the changes in your income. The changes in income, it means the more of X1 and the more of X2 you're consuming. Okay. And at the same time, your indifference curve is shifting upward. So that shows that you are going for consuming a better utility. So your income changes, but and also consumption changes, but if the prices would remain constant, and these optimal choices are giving you the locus position and the combination, which is actually an income offer curve. And from this income offer curve, because we are talking about this perfect complement goods, your income offer curve would also be an upward, sorry, the angel curve would also be an upward sloping, which we are deriving from the income offer curve. The angel curve shows the relationship between money income and the commodity X1. You can also make it for X2. So both ways it is an upward sloping, because X1 if it is rising, then also X2 has to rise because your king is giving you this optimal choice. Fine. So both ways your angel curve would come a positive upward sloping curve in this case. So that is for the perfect complements analysis. I'm not going for the PPC curve right now because we are not still discussing about the demand curve. Through the PPC curve, we'll reach on the demand curve. But before that, we need to understand the this Hicksian part, Slutsky part. Yes, of course, the PPC curve is also better to know before it. But PPC is also the part of somewhere, you know, the substitution effect and also this income effect. Because both substitution effect and the income effect, if you will join, then it is giving you what this price effect, and then only this PPC curve would come out. So here we are only talking about this income effect for this perfect complement goods, and this is just a partial analysis, and you know, just giving you an idea, but in the depth you would study in all the cases again, all these situations. Then income offer curve and the angel curve for the perfect substitute goods. Okay. So perfect substitute goods, as we discussed yesterday, these are what the indifference curve are, the straight lines, fine. If they are the straight lines and following the slope of -1, okay. Now what is the optimal choice? First of all, the optimal choice is, this is your budget line, okay. We can see here something. What is happening here? Can give me anybody idea about it? This is a shaded line you can see at the horizontal axis. We have different indifference curves, and each and every point of these indifference curves are showing the -1 slope. Okay, we have seen the functional form of this for the perfect substitute goods yesterday. And if one you want to increase, it means the X1, then completely X2 has can be substituted with X1. So that is the whole process. It means that is why the slope of triangle would be similar in all the way. Okay, that is not being fluctuated. The reason, because you're talking about a perfect substitute case. The whole X2 you are substituting with the X1. So can you tell me what is this line is indicating? This budget line, and what this horizontal line is revealing. Is there any idea about it? These are the fundamentals, okay. I'm just revising all these things before going in the advancements. Yes, anybody can tell me. No idea. Gopika, Varun is there, Abhishek,
This one.
do you have idea about it? What is this line? Okay, first you tell me what is this black line. ब्लैक लाइन तो बेटा लिखा हुआ है ना,
Budget line, ma'am.
इट्स अ बजट लाइन. ओके,
Yes, ma'am.
एंड व्हाट इज दिस शेडेड लाइन? See, we have two goods. There are the three situations you need to understand. The one is, we do consider whenever we have a budget line and we want to reveal our choice, okay, between commodity X1 and commodity X2, then we need to follow here the P1 and a P2 case. Fine. If we have first case, the price P1 is greater than P2, then as a consumer, what you will do? Yes, Abhishek. If P1 is greater than P2, then if you are a consumer and you need to reveal your choice between X1 and X2, तो आप क्या करोगे?
We will choose X2 मैम.
तो आप क्या करोगे?
X2 को चूज करेंगे.
किसको चूज करोगे? X2 को.
X2.
तो X2 को आप चूज करोगे तो X1 क्या हो जाएगा? 0 हो जाएगा. Similarly, if we have P2 is greater than P1, तो आप X1 को completely consume करोगे. And if we have P1 is equals to P2, तो आप इन दोनों के बीच में रहोगे, है ना? So that is the position. या तो आप उसको consume करोगे या फिर आप उसको consume करोगे. That is your choice then. But if all of a sudden the prices are changing, the budget line would determine the entire situation. Now, your income effect is just concise to this. Here, इस सिचुएशन में अगर मान लो कि प्राइस P1, क्योंकि आप X1 की बात कर रहे हो एंड यू आर ऑप्टिंग X1's कंजम्पशन, और आपको ये लग रहा है कि प्राइस P2 ज्यादा है, देन यू वुड लाइक टू कंज्यूम ओनली X1. तो आपका इनकम ऑफर का कॉन्साइज हो जाता है X1 के साथ, बिकॉज यू आर एक्चुअली टेकिंग दीज बाउंड्री ऑप्टिमम्स. ठीक है, ये दिख रहा है आपको? ये क्या है? दिस इज एन ऑप्टिमल चॉइस. Either you will go with this. अगर ये मान लो यहाँ पे टेंजेंसी फॉलो करता, किसके साथ में? किसी न किसी इंडिफरेंस कर्व के साथ में टेंजेंसी होना चाहिए, तब वो ऑप्टिमल चॉइस फॉलो करता. बट द ऑप्टिमल चॉइस इज व्हाट? This is your optimal choice because it is following the tendency with the indifference curve. It means as a consumer you are opting what? X1 here. ठीक है, तो अगर आप X1 को चूज कर रहे हो तो this is your IC1, this is your IC2, this is your IC3, this is your IC4. So the locus point of all optimal choices you are combining. तो ये क्या बन गया? ये आपका इनकम ऑफर कर्व बन गया. और यहाँ इंपॉर्टेंट अजम्पशन होता है that you keep your prices constant. तो हम प्राइस की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, we are only saying, हम assume कर लेते हैं कि P1 और P2 दोनों बराबर है, but as a consumer you are choosing only X1 because the whole X2 is substituted with X1. So you are taking all these locus points and the optimal positions, and here we have the budget line, which is, if I do talk about only budget line, the optimal solution would be this. Okay, but if my budget line is constant and everywhere if my income changes, then you are consuming more on this X1. Okay, तो आप X1 पे हर बार ज्यादा खर्च कर रहे हो. तो this and this and this and this, so all you are adding or giving a locus combination to this, and this is giving you an offer curve. So your offer curve is concise to the X1. If you're choosing this X2, then it will be concise to this. But when it comes to the angel curve, okay, for X1, then it is upward sloping. Or if you're choosing this X2 and it is concise to the vertical axis, then that is also upward sloping. Okay, so the income offer curves definition would remain same, or angel curves definition would remain same, that every time whenever your money income changes, यानी जब आपका income बढ़ता है तो consumption आपकी जो choice वाली commodity है उसके लिए बढ़ जाता है. Okay, so this definition would remain same. So that is why your angel curve is upward sloping. But because this is a perfect substitute and exceptional case, this is concise to this particularly X axis or Y axis. Is that clear? And this is what? This is income offer curve. Don't get confused between angel curve and income offer curve, because angel curve shows the relationship between income and commodity, but the income offer curve actually we do derive between two of the goods choices where our income changes but our prices would remain constant. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, optimal choices with perfect substitute, as it was already there. So I discussed this. So here we have, see, the one choice, here we have another choice. So we have a tangency which is occurring here also and here also. This is nothing, this is the demand curve. So MP1, this is your whole demand. As I was mentioning, that if the price of P2 is greater than P1, so my demand curve would shift to the consumption of this X1 only. So the whole I am consuming this X1, my optimal choice would be this point. Okay. If I say P1 is greater than P2, so my optimal choice would shift from this position to this position. And then I will consume only this. So this will not longer remain my optimal choice. And you may be somewhere between these two. Okay. Here it means your slope would shuffle like this, and that is just because when you will have the situation P1 is equals to P2, then your optimal choices would different. But that is also not defined. We can only say the consumer can be anywhere between these two positions. So here, anywhere the consumer would lie. Fine. But here in this particular diagram, we have an optimal choice of X1 is star, because star is an optimal indication. And this is the demand curve, the monetary income divided by this P1. So my demand curve is shifted for the choices of X1 because the price of P2 is greater than this P1. Is that clear? Now let's talk about this. That is the functional form of it. So the functional form of it we already have seen yesterday. That is alpha x1 plus beta x2. So if we do talk about this MRS of it, marginal utility of 1 divided by marginal utility of 2. So alpha by beta would be there. It means your MRS says that if one would increase, then other would automatically decrease. So that is the case of perfect substitute. But in the perfect substitute, we know the one good is completely getting substituted with other. But every time, because you're substituting in the same proportion, this is giving you the -1 slope every time. Okay. So the MRS is independent of the number of goods consumed. Okay. So we are not talking about the amount of it. This is actually what you are consuming. That is, you are shifting your entire consumption to the other consumption. So that is the only case which is your choices which is coming into it, or the prices of those commodities which is coming into it. Then we do talk about a positive monotonic transformation. Okay. This is saying we have the V, which is a function. Okay. Function of this utility. The monotonic transformation means we are talking about monotonicity. Okay. Hope you all remember monotonicity. What this says? See, I do again and again ask because your connection with this particular topic. What is monotonicity?
The consumer wants more of better, more than getting better.
More?
More is better than getting least for a rational consumer.
Okay. Monotonicity is also the part of well-behaved preferences. Okay.
Yes,
So how you define monotonic preferences? I hope you all have done the mathematics. Mathematically, how would you define it?
I would say function is increasing or
What?
decreasing, then if a function is increasing or decreasing, then it is mono.
Okay. So do you know the differences between homogeneous and homothetic functions?
No, no, homo.
You don't know the differences of homothetic and homogeneous functions.
No.
See, the monotonic function, one that is always increasing. Okay, strictly increasing. So that is required a monotonic or monotonicity feature in case of indifference curve, and a positive monotonicity which is needed. Now in this function, what is happening? This is actually increasing. Okay. But in this function, what's happening? This is declining and then further it is increasing. So will you call it monotonic? The monotonicity says the function should strictly increase. Okay. And when you call monotonic transformation, it means like homothetic functions. As we not homothetic functions we have studied, we've studied the homothetic preferences yesterday. Homothetic preferences says that if you are adding in a similar proportion like x1 and x2, okay, the same proportion if you would like to add, then you can double it, you can triple it, okay, the same proportion, but all time is strictly increasing, so it's also following the monotonic transformation. And also the basic property of your function is not changing, or I would say what is your MRS, that would remain same. It means you are substituting your x2 for x1, that proportion would always remain same. So if this is same, only your functional form is changing. Okay, your monotonic transformation, which is defining your function form in a different way, that is different thing, but the property of your function would remain same. Then we say yes, it is following convexity and also the monotonicity. So this particular function can also be shown in a different way, but like here also it is increasing, here also increasing, and in all ways the slopes are similar. So if slopes are similar, property, the basic property of function is similar, but it's also following all time it is increasing. Okay, the same proportion it is increasing. Here what is happening? This is declining. So that's not possible in case of monotonic transformation. So in that case, the property of function would change. So how would you see the monotone preferences? For any two bundles, it's X and Y you have been given. So axis, I is basically indicating 1, 2, 3, and so on amounts. So it's revealed preferred on Y and also at least as good as. But as a consumer, I would like to opt it because as convexity allow me to opt it this X, fine, for each I. Similarly for here, axis revealed preferred on I. Now here I am following the weak preferences. Here I am following the strong preferences. But here for each I am indicating, here I am indicating for some I. Okay. Now the outcome of both, if I would combine, then it implies what? The axis revealed preferred on Y. Because here also my weak preferences is giving me, X is better than Y. And my strong preferences for some cases, it is giving me the X is better than Y. So my overall outcome, X is better than Y. Now, if consumer, because it is still at least as good as, and both are following what? A convex set and also a weak preferred set. So sometimes there could be the case of Y is revealed preferred on X. Now, if this is reversed by a consumer on some situations, like what we do in case of revealed preference theory, you don't know about revealed preference theory, but in some cases, whenever the budget changes, the consumer does, or reveals their preferences in a different way. So if this is happening, then what happens? This does not imply this relationship, and it means your monotonic preferences are getting changed, or we say your functional property would not remain same now. So if you are defining your function in this way and defining in this way, so this could be a monotonic transformation of this, or this could be a monotonic transformation of this, but this overall is giving you this functional property that X is better than Y. I cannot change it, Y is better than X. So if I do that, your MRS property or your functional property would change. And then I could not say that I do follow monotonicity as a nature, as a characteristics of my indifference curve or my preferences. So the preferences are monotone if more of any good makes the agent strictly better off. Okay. So that is why homothetic preferences are jumping on double, triple in the same proportion. And this allows, the monotonic transformations and also the convexity as the characteristics of this indifference curve. So in terms of preferences, we can rewrite our monotonicity like this, and utility of axis revealed preferred on the utility of Y. So this should always be the case of every function when you are changing it. Like if I would write utility function, x power is half, okay, and the y power is half. You can calculate MRS out of it. Whether you can calculate MRS out of it? X power half and the y power half. Yes. I want to hear from you whether you are able to calculate MRS out of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if I change the function now, if I change the function now, this is 1 by 3, x power 1 by 3 and the y power 2 by 3. Then again you need to calculate MRS. Now you need to just check whether the MRS property are same or not. Okay, so with a different form of function, okay, if you are getting common MRS or the common property of it, then the transformation does allow by this, convexity and also this well-behaved preferences as a property of indifference curve. Now we'll talk about quasi-linear preferences. Shall I continue or should I take this topic tomorrow? Tell me if it is more or now getting burden on you.
मैम इतना बहुत है.
बहुत है?
Yes,
ठीक है.
ma'am.
Do you have book Holla variant?
No, ma'am.
नहीं है?
No, ma'am.
So then I will
No, ma'am, नहीं.
I'll share. Okay, I'll share with all of you the soft copy of it. So today's topic was also from that book only. Okay, so because of the basics of you need to go through first. So these all are the basics to understand the utility part. This is actually the ordinal utility part. So you need to